Hey everybody, this is Brett. And you know, there are so many things that we can worry about in this world, but there are also so many things that offset all those troubles. And knowledge is such a huge thing. And we're so blessed or lucky, or we earned it or whatever, to have a computer. And see, the computer, it allows us to learn so many things and to share so many things that we didn't know before. And there are people out there that know how we can insulate houses naturally. There are people out there that know how to grow food right out in your front yard, no matter where you live. There are people that know how to reduce the EMF, like I do, that are going to teach you everything that you need to know. And you get to pick and choose. Unlike when you went to college, they told you, well, you have to take this and that and this and that. You know, in high school too, you know. I mean, I had to take all of these things that I never use. Most of, 90% of what I learned with the time that I spent in high school was a total waste of my time. 4 years wasted. And so there was no way I was going to go to college, and I'm so glad that I didn't spend all of that money in wasted time. But now I can just look up whatever I need. I mean, for instance, I learned how to plumb my pipes online. Last night I learned how to fix the computer by using the computer. I didn't know how there was these little plugs that I didn't know how to get to them to be able to plug them back in to reassemble the computer, and I was just stumped. And so I managed to get it back together enough that I could get it started again, and I looked it up on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, you have to pop the keyboard before you can get to those. And so, I mean, and the best teachers in the world are not necessarily or even usually the ones at schools. The best teachers in the world are self-employed and want to share knowledge with you, oftentimes, like I do, freely on YouTube. You know how big of an offsetter this is to the challenges that we have that y'all might be worried about? You see, I've learned and I've known for a long time that oftentimes the reason that I'm worried about something is just because I'm cleansing and I'm so toxic. My blood is full of carbon monoxide from shit that I breathed from a truck 10 years ago or something, you know. All of that gets stored in the fat in our bodies, and we get these heavy deposits, heavy hard deposits, you know. Have you ever felt those like fatty tumors? I have some in my, I had these big ones in my jaw that I could feel. Now they're just tiny. I've worked those down to nothing. Some in my lower back, you know, those are all full of chemicals and crap. And when that gets worked out by, you go out and exercise, and that creates heat, and movement creates heat and release. And then that stuff gets back in your blood, you know, any kind of an activity like that. And then you start to get worried about, oh my God, the chemtrails and all kinds of shit, you know. When mostly what you need to focus on is your own little world. You take care of yourself and let God and all of whatever you want to call it take care of everything else. People, if they'd all just take care of themselves, and they will, even those that are needy and are not really looking like they're wanting to take care of themselves, they'll eventually get shunned and then learn that they'll have to start taking care of themselves or die. And so if they die, then they're not really dying, because they're going back into their spiritual state of being. And so they'll just eventually get reborn and have to do it over again when they're ready. That's my opinion about how it works. And so, yeah, you don't have to worry about stuff, because it doesn't matter what it is out there. Somebody will either get their ass kicked and have to change, whether it be a government, the United States government, or whatever government, or a small community, or an individual. They'll change for the better individually, eventually, for whatever reason, because they were doing something the wrong way and someone told them about it, or they learned about it, or they were forced to change. And so everything will get better, you know. A river may be totally polluted, and then people are like, well, we can't drink the water anymore and all the animals are dead, yada yada yada. Well, then changes will be made and asses will get kicked. And you just have to allow and have faith. That's the bottom line. Allow, have faith, and be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. So I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope you are well and getting weller.